Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Holistic Podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Didi King. She is a prosperity and mindset coach. She embodies the concept that the most successful people in business and in life, in general, understand that you become what you think about most of the time. So Didi King's approach as a coach begins there with the understanding that all success, personal and professional, is 95% mindset and 5% action. Hi, Didi, and welcome to the Holistic Podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Georgiana.
Wonderful. So I am really passionate about this topic. Myself, I have been teaching the holistic yoga system for 32 years by now. And it is obvious that what you do also and what you believe in, it's absolutely true. So the success, no matter if it is business or life, is 95% mindset. And then, of course, you need to put it into practice. So you need also the 5% action. But of course, I will be super interested and very curious to hear about your journey.
So I actually am a musician by training. That's what I went to college for, was performance on saxophone. But I've been, you could say, connected since I was very, very little. And so I've always been fascinated with how we think, why we do the things that we do. And because of that, I decided to minor in psychology and human development. And that's kind of where my path was starting to take me as an adult. And I got to a point in my career, I worked in music publishing for a very long time. I just got to a point in my career where I felt like I needed to do something else. And I needed to be what I felt like helping people in a different way, much more at the baseline level, which is how they think. And I think when I finally made the decision that coaching was what I wanted to do, everything happened really, really quickly. The opportunity came within 24 hours, and I've been then coaching now for officially for about 5 years, but I've mentored people for a long time because I kind of see where their path is going, and it's like, okay, did you think about that? Everything really begins with the thought process, but often we're in what I would call default mode, where we're just being led by the circumstances around us instead of thinking about what we want first and then allowing that path to unfold.
Yes, it's of course these aren't universal mechanisms that work in all people, no matter what they believe in, no matter what they do, no matter what. And I also teach the same to people. I'm coaching in different areas of life, but I'm always telling them everything starts at the mental level, and then it's the mental attitude, the thoughts that you have in mind, and those will create a certain state, emotional state. And then if you have that long enough, it will create also quite a lot of physical reality. So in even sickness, you need to work backwards and see what was in your mind that produces that.
Yeah.
So it is actually a very empowering understanding, realizing how we work, what are the mechanisms behind the things that we experience. Because when you understand that everything starts at the mental level, then you have the power to do something about it. Otherwise, it's, as you say, autopilot. You do whatever the circumstances are driving you to do, instead of you realize how it works, you make a decision, and then you act instead of just reacting like a robot.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels very limiting. It feels very disempowered when you're constantly reacting to circumstances. When you feel like what's happening around you, you have to kind of like put out fires all the time. It doesn't feel like you're in control. But when you kind of roll it back, like you said, and look at what's going on in the mind, and you have that understanding that you have a connection to all of the power that there is that you need, then you're the one in control. And then you feel empowered. And then you start to understand, okay, well, I don't have to accept what's here right now. I can choose something new. What's here right now is a product of past. I want what's coming next. And I do that right now. And I do that with my thinking.
Yes, maybe I will. I usually put it a little bit different, and I say the easiest for us, also emotionally, is to accept what it is right now.
Mhm.
But accepting what it is right now doesn't mean that I have to go along with it. I just accept that this is it. So if I don't want it to continue, then I have to do something. I know I have, and I know what to do about it so it doesn't continue anymore, because we are creating our futures now all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I like that too. It was a realization that came to me a few years ago, was that when we're pushing up against this thing that we don't like, it's like having a wall in front of us. But like you said, when you accept the situation in that moment, you don't have to accept it for all eternity, but you can accept that this is where I am right now, and this is my stepping stone for moving forward. It kind of breaks that wall down and creates that path for you to go forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, because for example, in yoga, there are many types of meditations. And in order for people to be able to meditate, we can have a long discussion, but not now. In order to meditate, you need to have very good mental concentration. And in order to have very good mental concentration, you need to be able to be aware of the content of your mind, to have a little bit of control upon your thoughts. So it is said in the meditation process, for example, you will have thoughts while you sit there and think you are meditating. So instead of fighting the thoughts, just let them be. They come, they go. So it's a state of active acceptance, not a passive acceptance. You let them come and go, because if you focus upon them, you just make them bigger. So if you refuse what is right now, you contract inside, you give that thing that you refuse even more energy. So it's much better that you have this active acceptance. All right, this is it, what it is now. Do I want it more? No. Okay, what do I have to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree totally. Yes. And that's a big part of what I help my clients with, is understanding where they want their focus to be. So do I want to continue, like you said, do I want this to continue? Whether you're in meditation or you're in real life, dealing with day-to-day circumstances, it's always asking that question: is this what I want? If the answer is no, what would I love? And putting your focus on the what would I love, not the what is that's bothering me, because what you think about grows. Yeah, absolutely. And we don't want to keep growing the same thing over and over again. We want to grow ourselves, our mind, our bodies, our existence, whatever it is that we're doing is a continuous path of growth. But we don't want that growth to be the same thing growing again and again and again. We want new experiences. We want new joys. We want to feel that connection that we have. And we do that through that positive mindset and that positive focus.
Do you have any, I will joke a little bit, do you have any spectacular results with coaching some of your clients who maybe was in a very precarious condition, and then with your help, with the shifting of the mindset, they got spectacular results?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite clients, well, they're all my favorites, but this one particular client was in a situation where he had a business that he was starting that he absolutely hated. And because he didn't like it, it just kept perpetuating the same thing over, and he wasn't getting the sales that he wanted. He wasn't getting the types of jobs that he wanted. And he wanted to stop doing the things that he was doing and expand to something else, but he just couldn't see how to do that. And he was very hesitant to work with me at first because the first thing that people think about is expense. They don't think about the prosperity of money, that money is something that you exchange for further prosperity. It's not something you give away and then it's gone. It's a living, breathing thing. And so I just helped him to see, you have this beautiful vision of where you want to go, but you're not able to do that because you haven't learned how to train your mind to do that. Let's just get started and let's see what happens, because I know that you're going to get there. And so he did. He started, and within the first month that we worked together, he filled up his calendar for 6 months into the future of jobs that he was looking forward to doing. He wasn't having to do the types of things that he had been doing. He got new contracts, and that's been pushing him in a newer direction. So when we started together, he was struggling to pay his bills every month. And now he is considering multiple multi-million-dollar contracts, and he can't take them all because he just doesn't have the time and capacity yet. So he's doing really well because he put his focus on what he wanted, and it began to manifest itself very, very quickly.
It is one aspect that usually I discuss with, I call them my students, not my clients. So with my students, there has been, and probably you are familiar with it, this documentary and book, The Secret and the Law of Attraction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Many people heard about it. I have one observation regarding that. It is presented in a way which is not complete from my perspective, because it is presented like the universe is a sort of a catalog that you can order, better job, a bigger house, newer cars, and so on. But they don't present the fact that actually we need to take into consideration the fact that we need to deserve that. It is, of course, it works when you focus your attention upon something and you visualize and you mentalize and you desire it and you want it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen if it is not in your destiny, so to speak. So you need to make some shifts inwards in order for that to work. So the universe is not just a catalog that you can order from what you wish for. You need to do some inner transformations. It's not enough that you sit there, you have a billboard in front of you with the bigger house, and then no, I want it. You need to do some work within. You need to do inner work and inner transformation so that you raise your level, so that it will fit what you wish for.
Yes.
Because otherwise people understand it, so the only thing I need to do is sit there and order a bigger house, newer cars, better job.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Secret was a great awakening for a lot of people. It helped people understand, it kind of brought law of attraction into the mainstream. Law of attraction has been there forever. The universal laws, that's how our universe expands. So I like to view law of attraction as the manager of vibrations, and you have to match the vibration of what you're asking for. And like you said, there's inner work that's involved in that. And so how do we do that inner work? We do it with our thinking. We do it by kind of taking stock of our beliefs and our expectations. And we have to learn to shift our beliefs to resonate with what we want, and also shift our expectations so that we're not expecting the same old stuff to keep happening over and over again. Because when we do, that's what we're attracting. Because a lot of people say, well, I want more money. I want a bigger house. Why isn't it coming? Well, because you're noticing it's not there, because you're not in alignment with it. You still believe you can't have it. It's belief. Belief is a big factor in there. But it's a journey, and it takes time, because we've been kind of programmed since we were born to believe a certain way. And we have to unlearn that certain way if it's not serving us, if it's not in alignment with where we want to go. And we have to start to integrate the new belief system and that feeling of expectation and knowing. And when you get into that place of expectation and knowing, then the things start to come. But it isn't always the exact thing you ask for, because the universe or source or God, or however you view it, knows exactly what you want because of the life you've lived. And it has this element and this element and this element. And sometimes what you get is even better than what you had imagined in the first place. But the inner work has to be there. The vibration has to be risen to a place where the frequencies match, so that law of attraction can bring you those things.
Exactly. So for me, it's important to, when I heard the law of attraction, I understood it immediately, that it's one piece missing. So if people don't understand that the inner vibration needs to match the outer, the vibration of the things they wish for, it will not happen no matter how often or how hard they think of it. It's just a mental speculation. So if you want to make a materialization or a manifestation of your wishes, you need to have the same resonance to match those frequencies, as you put it. So it's good that there are more who are saying the same thing, because there are universal laws, there aren't universal mechanisms, and they will work no matter if you believe in them or not. So you cannot just fight them and think they will adjust to you. We need to adjust to them. We need to understand how they work.
Well, and that's the thing, is a lot of people that I've talked to, when we start talking about law of attraction, oh, well, law of attraction doesn't work for me. But I have to tell them, it's working perfectly. Look at your results. Your results are exactly a match to what you've been thinking.
Yes, and this is many times for all of us, also a little bit of a wake-up call or a shaking moment, when you realize that what you have in your life right now, it's just a materialization of everything you have been thinking on so far. So if you don't like it, take a look inside. Don't jump at changing the outer world. Take a look inside first, and then the outer world would simply reflect what you have built inside.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think a lot of people get caught up in this, well, this needs to change and this needs to change, and then I'll feel better, or then everything will line up. And that's maddening. You can't control anything other than yourself. Only your thinking and your actions. If you try to change other people or other situations, you're going to have a long road to struggle, and it's not going to feel good.
No, and probably you'll end up in a hospital with some serious illness.
Yeah, very likely.
Did you have also some people who, no matter how well you explained to them, they were unable to shift their mindset?
Well, there are degrees. So there's been no one that I've worked with so far who has not had some shifts. Now, did everyone get everything that they thought they wanted? No, but they didn't always do the work that was necessary. They did some of the work. And so one of the things that I stress with my clients, my students, my people that I work with, is helping them to understand that we have to build a new rhythm. You know, being a musician, rhythm, I understand, is such an important part of things. And, you know, our body has a rhythm, our thoughts have a rhythm, our life has a rhythm. And so we have to be in control of the rhythm of what we want. And the most important rhythm we can have is that well-being, that rhythm of well-being, because that's where everything flows from that we want. You know, when you talk about the frequencies of the things that we're desiring, they're on the frequency of well-being, happiness, joy, love. And so it's taking the time to build that rhythm on a daily basis, so that you pull yourself away from that old rhythm of chaos and negativity, negative momentum, and put yourself in a continuous positive momentum. Now, yes, you're going to have ebbs and flows within that, but they're going to be much less and less severe. But really working on something that they can do on a daily basis that helps them find that feel-good place, whether it's starting out with just expressing gratitude and appreciation. they could take a journal and just start focusing on what they appreciate about their life right now. But doing that on a daily basis, building that small rhythm, and then building on that, building multiple rhythms, but all within that well-being frame. One of the things that I chose to do for myself about 3 years ago was to begin meditating every day. And for me, it felt very daunting because I have a mind that is chatter all the time. And so learning how to quiet it was my opportunity of building that well-being for myself. And I just let it be what it was. I just allowed myself to have my specific time on a daily basis. And some days I was successful in releasing, and some days I wasn't. And I didn't judge, I just let it be. But now I look so forward to the way it feels when I meditate, that it has really brought my vibration to a very steady place of well-being. And very little affects me in a negative way now. I can probably say 95% of the time I'm in a place of well-being. And I see a major difference in what's coming to me in my life, the positive prosperity and manifestations that are coming in. Many of them are beyond what I had imagined, and I'm just having so much fun with it. And so this is a big focus that I work with my clients and students.
I can totally relate to it because I have had meditation as my daily practice for the last 32 years. And of course, I can notice that there is a continuous transformation. And my ability of meditating that I had then when I started, and my ability of meditating now after these years of practice increased tremendously. And it is exactly as you said, the inner well-being, the inner harmony, the inner balance. And they brought up such an inner strength and such an awareness that I can cope with life situations in a matter of minutes and just deal with it in a harmonious manner, instead of maybe if the same thing would have happened for me for 2-3 years ago, well, it would have been a little bit of a struggle and a little bit of emotional pain. But now I deal with it, it's gone, and I move on. And it is due to meditation and yoga practice. So I recommend strongly to people, warmly to people, to start with it, because it is our natural ability to meditate. It's not something that we need to learn, because we all have the ability to meditate. It's just we need to understand how it works so that we can sit down and do it.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I really love about what this has helped me to do is that it really helps to have more energy of focus towards more of the things that I want. So it's kind of like a snowball effect where, you take a small amount of time to meditate in the morning, and it just starts your day on in the right momentum. And then, when you think about a life of chaos, you feel so depleted of energy at the end of the day when you're in chaos and constantly reacting to things. But when you do that inner work and you're able to be calm and, deal with situations as they come, let them go, you have more energy for the creative things that you want to do in your life. And we are all creative. We're creative in many different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean artistically. We create with our thinking. And so you have more creative power with your thinking when you have that calm state of mind. So you become much more productive. You can get much more done in a shorter period of time. You have more time to do more of the things that are fun, and more of the fun things are coming to you. It's just this wonderful path that keeps unfolding perpetually.
It's exactly like that. You get so much more energy because you start the day right, and then you also have the mindset right. So everything flows much more easily and natural. I am curious about one aspect, because I have been working with people for a lot of years and also working with the mental aspects of being a human being. What did you notice so far from you working as a coach? What have you noticed that it is, let's put it like this, the biggest problem when it comes to mindset?
The biggest problem is just that focus of lack, whether it's lack of money, lack of time, lack of health. We are as a society focused on what's going wrong.
Can it have something to do with the, an aspect, it's a phenomenon which is referred to negativity bias in psychology?
So we are programmed by the people that we spend the most time with. And we have kind of gotten into a place of trying to solve problems. And a problem comes from a negative aspect or a place of lack. And when we start to shift and see that there are always solutions, that puts us back into that positive side of things and opens that flow, if you will. So if you think about energy as a flowing stream, and energy is what we use to create with, it's always there, it's always around us. But when we're focused on what is going wrong or the problem, we are kind of putting a kink in the hose, if you will, that slows down the flow of the energy. It's never gone, but it slows it down. But when we start to look at the solution side of things and have that belief and that faith that it's there, that opens up that flow, and then those things can come in. And so this is, it's all connected with this understanding of building that rhythm of well-being. The well-being is always there, ready to flow to us, but we have to allow it in. We're in control of that. We're in control of our well-being. We're in control of not having well-being. We're in control of having abundance and prosperity, or we're in control of having lack and not enough. But when your mindset is so focused on what's going wrong, it's a continuous cycle of more going wrong and more going wrong. And so you're kind of teaching yourself to expect more going wrong or more lack.
Well, it is a little bit funny because we have been speaking about law of attraction, and the law of attraction works in both directions.
Yes.
If you are focused only on what it is not there, on the lack, you just make it stronger, because this is where you put all your energy. So you are attracting to you lack of things, because this is what you focus on. So law of attraction doesn't work only attracting the biggest house, the better job. It's attracting what you focus on.
Yeah. And you think about, if you work in a business where you have a lot of coworkers, and I know that's with COVID and everything happening right now, we aren't together as much, but we still talk to each other. And often our conversations revolve around the bad things that just happened to me. Let me tell you about my day yesterday. And then you've got the next person. Oh, well, you think that's bad. Well, this happened to me, and this, and so we're continuously perpetuating this. And, but it's because we have this herd mentality. We're community-minded people, and we want to fit in. And so we model what other people are beginning. We learn that from our parents. We learn that in school. We learn it from our workplaces. And this is why a very small amount of people have a lot of success, is because they figured out that it isn't about being part of the herd. It's about being me. It's about being unique and expressing who I am. I can still co-create with other people, but I have to know me well enough to know what resonates with me, and that I don't need to pull in what they're saying if it doesn't resonate. So that's a big part of this as well, is learning how to understand who you are, and that you are not anyone else. There is no one else like you, never will be, never was.
From my perspective, this is the only thing we need to do, because if we discover who we truly are, and how we truly work, and which are the mechanisms of us as human beings, and of me in particular as this human being, then this is all we need to discover. So this is, without this, no matter how good the coach is, no matter how much money we invest in, no matter how many superb trainings, it will still not give the results because we don't know who we are. If we don't know who we are, how can we do things if we just mimic what other people are doing? So it cannot work.
Yes. If you don't know who you are, how can you change? You can't change what you don't understand. Yes.
Exactly. It has been a super interesting conversation. Thank you, Didi, for taking your time and sharing with us from your experience. And please just share with the audience a website where people can find you if they want to contact you. And in the blog post, in the podcast post, I'll put also the links to your social media, but just the website to start with because it's the easiest. There, I suppose they can contact also on the social media.
Yeah, my website is a work in progress, but you can find me at didiking.com. So didiking.com. But the absolute best way to contact me is through Facebook or LinkedIn. And Georgiana has that contact information there, and she'll put that where people can find it.
Yes, I will put the links there so people can contact you and have a blast in transforming their mindset so they discover who they really are, and also enjoy life to the best and do the best of it by changing the way they think, because it's the ground of us being human beings. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation, and I will keep in touch with you, and I will send you as soon as I publish both the podcast in audio format and video format so that you can also share it with your audience.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me to chat today. I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful. Have a wonderful day.